Hello, this is something you might want to know if you're considering using UListing by a company called StyleMix. It's basically a plugin that lets you create custom listings and also lets visitors to your website input information so that you can use to generate those listings. The basically I've purchased the Pro version, and quite soon after seeing it, and it's a bit of a regret of mine, to be honest, because I find it for my own purposes completely unusable. And there's one fundamental reason why, and I think most people might have this difficulty as well, and it's this. So when you download the software, you've got some options to import some kind of test sample data, which is great because it helps show you how to use it and everything like that. And then it sets these pages up and whatnot. And then one of the buttons here lets you add a listing. Here we go, add a listing. So this is basically if someone is going into your website and they want to add a listing, with the Pro version you can kind of add, you can let people add one for free or purchase, and that's the kind of functionality you get with the Pro version. But you also get some of this functionality with the basic version as well. So let's assume that they want to add, for example, a car. Okay, it might be for a club or a website that lists and sells cars. I don't know. So here we go, and here straight away is the problem. Title. What is expected of the user here? Okay. Now you might make an assumption about what the user might make an assumption, but they don't know. Do we want the year of the car, the make of the car, the brand of the car, the model of the car? And this is really problematic in terms of trying to gather the correct data from people so that you can then present it in a way that's uniform and makes sense to everyone. So here we don't know. And the problem with the software is you cannot change it. You can't change that bit there that says title to something that says brand or color or location. Okay, all of these other ones you can customize completely, which is great, as you would expect. But the first problem here, it's just, to me, it just stands out a mile that that's really problematic. Now I know if we're talking about cars, you might assume, oh, we're talking about the brand. So that's, people would know to put in the brand, but okay, let's just look at something different. Remember, this is a website. This is a software that lets you create custom listings. Here's another one, buildings. Okay, perhaps this might be used to sell as like for a realtor or estate agents, as we call them in the UK, or whatever, sell houses. Title. Now this one I think certainly isn't obvious. If you've got a house, if you're thinking of listing a house for whatever reason, what's expected here? I don't know. Is it the location? Is it price? Yeah. Is it size of the garden? So, and this is why this is so problematic, in that you cannot change this. I've contacted their customer support, and they're pretty resistant to recognizing that that's a problem at all, which it is. And the only suggestion that came back is that I download another plugin that's a kind of a language translation plugin that lets me swap title for a different word. Now that doesn't alleviate the problem at all, because that just means that title becomes something else, and it will still be used across all forms, whereas really this needs to be completely customizable for each form, as these are here. So you can generate a field here and you call it bedrooms. You can generate a field here, as they've done, called garages. How many garages? Presumably description. Yes, I totally get that. But to have title just as your first point of entry and no one knows what to put there, just basically completely wipes out any reason why I should use this on a proper website that I hope to present to the public. And unfortunately, I think I've basically spent my money on the Pro version, and I don't know, they may or may not give me my money back, but it's probably unlikely. But more than that, I spent a lot of time trying to work it out and get to know the software, and then I've stumbled across this and realised that it really doesn't work in a real world situation. I think possibly the developers, when they've created this software, they've thought it might be obvious, or perhaps even haven't tried to use it in a real world situation. Anyway, I just thought I'd let you know. You may still like the idea of it, but data is is one of those things where if you're asking for data from people who aren't familiar with what is required, that's a real kind of stumbling block, or a bottleneck, if you like, to getting coherent and organized data. There you go.